The game seems to be about war. The first level, BOB-OMB Battlefield, is a war zone. The castle has been taken by force, and Bowser intends to take the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario must restore peace. So the game uses this sort of language, and then the first painting depicts a literal battlefield. WHOMP'S Fortress 2 depicts a fortress, a military stronghold. It is kind of interesting that both these levels consist of a world you must climb, a mountain you must climb to reach the top. At the top, a king or ruler is found and must be toppled, defeated. More interestingly, in both these areas you must climb up into the sky, into the clouds, and WHOMP'S Fortress even highlights this by making it a floating fortress, a castle which is already in the sky to begin with. All this makes me think once again of Peach's castle, with its sky blue walls decorated to make it seem as if the castle is the sky itself. And the ascent of which, right, the ascent of Peach's castle leads you to even higher skies, more distanced from the green mountains on the ground floor. This is the castle Bowser has taken, whose life he has kidnapped and put into paintings. Funny then that the skies on the walls are, too, paintings. The sky this castle is representing is not a real sky, but a depiction of a sky. And then the paintings you explore in your adventure are, in my view, depictions of this depiction. They represent the castle in the sky theme, as if granting Mario different perspectives on this same archetypal world. Obviously, it's not a perfect fit, but at a first glance, the amount of levels designed to be ascents or palaces of some sort is interesting. BOB-OMB Battlefield, Cool Mountain, Tall Mountain, and Tiny Huge Island are fairly explicit mountains. WHOMP'S Fortress, Big Boo's Haunt are examples of houses, fortresses of some kind, imbued with spirituality, be it because they are home to a king, a sort of god that is closer to the skies than to the earth, or because they are empty tombs, homes to the dead. Both these characteristics, funnily enough, can be applied to Peach's castle. Right? It is empty, dead, a haunted house, home to spirits, but also the house of a divine spirit, a monarch. The pyramid in Shifting Sandland meets both these roles too, right? Because it's a tomb to a pharaoh. Of course, there is a game design element to all this, because Mario used to travel, from left to right in 2D courses. So 3D opens up a huge dilemma for his type of world, right? Up and down seems to be the only axis left in the 3D world, which is slightly linear, slightly 2D in nature. It's a comfortable place to hang on to as this transition is made from the 2D world to the 3D. Anyway, of course, I could spend more time squeezing the levels into my schemata here, and I love this kind of stuff, honestly, but I'll try not to get too lost in this at the moment. Tick-tock clock is also a vertical axis, and modelled around a tree, another sort of mountain symbol in many myths. We have Rainbow Ride, which is interesting because not only is it explicitly sky, but is accessed by staring at the sun within a closed building standing on a symbol of the sun. It's as if the sun, or light, represents the sky here, whereas darkness represents the depths, which is where Mario comes from, the deep plumbing that forms the roots of the castle. So I wonder what these themes of war are. The kingdom is at war. It is not at peace. because Bowser, a despotic ruler, has taken over. He is at war with the Mushroom Kingdom. But this war gets represented artistically. It is only hinted at via the militaristic themes of the game. And this artistic depiction of war is, in some sense, the war itself, since the artistic depictions, the paintings, are the prisons where Bowser has trapped all the life of the castle. We are also jumping into these paintings, so these cease to be 2D surfaces and become rich and expansive 3D environments. The game, to me, seems to be the birth pangs of 3D through the old shell of 2D. 3D is erupting into the Mushroom Kingdom, in a sense, and the trauma of this event is referred to by the game itself in its symbolic structure, it seems. Even Whomp King, with his complaint that people only use him and his fellow stones as stepping stones, rests at the pinnacle of a level, right? Whomp King, he rests at the pinnacle of a level that is a parody of a 2D Mario level. We jump on sentient platforms, dodge sentient blocks, do all of the things Mario did in 2D, but slowly incorporate them into the 2D walls that form a 3D fortress. You know? Let's remember that Whomp King is angry at Mario for using them, the stones, as mere terrain to walk on, or in other words, as platforms to step on. Here, two crises are being had. Mario, or as he was known earlier, Jumpman, is someone whose entire behavior consists in navigating platforms, or stones, the material world itself, right? Jumping from stone to stone. Be they slabs of stone, or of ice, or of fluffy cloud, or the tops of trees, or whatever it may be. Mario navigates these platforms to reach his goal. Here, in the 3D world, platforms no longer lead to a certain goal at the right of the screen. They lead in all directions. The certain goal is gone. Mario must instead become a game about collecting stars in order to spread the platforming goals around. But also, a crisis is being had by the platforming slabs themselves, the Whomp King. They accuse Mario of being a despot, of mercilessly using them. So Mario here is presented as the tyrannical king, despite being also a working class man used by the kingdom to maintain the kingdom's power, as I explored in the earlier videos. So, within this interpretation, it is Mario who is secretly the despotic ruler. Bowser, right? Or in other words, Bowser is maybe, in some sense, Mario's shadow. Mario is complicit with Bowser's desires. In one obvious sense, Mario needs Bowser to kidnap Peach so that he can be a hero. So, if it is Bowser who has taken the castle and started a war, then maybe it is Mario's mission to become aware of what this war is, to analyze the material conditions of this war and his place within them, in order to move on to something better, where not kidnapping but freedom can be had. This freedom requires Mario to put the pieces together. That is why different paintings of some sort of archetypal reality have to be entered. It seems as if the game is saying that the war is the unconsciousness Mario comes from, whereas the light he ascends to is the putting together of the pieces that the individual paintings are trying to express in their own ways. It is maybe an ascent from 2D to 3D, in the sense that there is a dimensional shift going on in the understanding itself. The 2D paintings are just approximations of the 3D worlds they represent. and the many 3D mountains they represent are just approximations of the archetypal, mythical mounting they are pointing towards. In a Zen koan sort of way, they are pointing to the moon, but the finger that points is not the moon. The war seems to be represented not just by bloody violence, but by imprisonment. The imprisonment in the paintings, and the kidnapping of Peach. War here is a lack of freedom, so peace might also be, by contrast, a fulfillment of human freedom. If what Mario is if what binds Mario is his unconscious complicity in the imprisonment of himself and of others, then he must learn of this complicity, see the ways in which he is Bowser, and by the act itself of becoming conscious, his behavior changes towards a freer behavior, which benefits both himself and those around him. Peach by not having someone using her as a means to an end, and Bowser by not having Mario using him as a means to maintain his status quo.